Welcome to Mindfulness with ROOP. This is a Trailblazer series. And today again we have yet another trailblazer, Mr. Jasveer Singh Dangi from Canada. Welcome to Mindfulness with ROOP, sir. Welcome
Thank
to the
you.
show. Yeah. So, Mr. Jasveer Singh Dangi is based in Canada. He is an author, podcast host, and a behavioral trainer. And he was part of the team who has actually trained 22,000 volunteers during the Commonwealth Games in 2010 at New Delhi. Well, there is a long list of achievements of Mr. Dangi, and before starting the talk, I really want to take the viewers through all the achievements. So, as I told you, that he is an author. So, let us start with his books. The names of his books. He has written 6 books so far and co-authored 2. The names of the books are like The Incredible Mr. Sweet, Shahenshah, The Metro-Maniac Chronicles, 010, Diary from Heaven, version 1.5, Concealed Words and Life. If I talk about his awards and recognition, then again the list is very very big. So let me name a few of them. He's rated as one of the 10 Indian authors redefining modern literature by Kathmandu Tribune in January 2020. He is recognized by NE8X with Sahitya Kosh Samman Award in Literature. In 2010, he was awarded by IISSM for his contributions towards the health and safety training domain. In 2019, Literature Light recognized him as top 100 debut authors for his debut work, version 1.5. Well, he was named as the author of the fest at the Writing Wizards Fest for his book 010. Well, a long list, sir, and I'm very proud that you are there in my show. You from your busy schedule, you took out some time to come over here on Mindfulness with Rup. I'm very obliged. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me here. Really honored. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, Mr. Dangi, this thing that you, along with a set of other trainers, like trained 22,000 volunteers during the Commonwealth Games. I'm very curious to know about that. What was that?
Yes, Amity University was the official training partner for Commonwealth Games 2010, and I was with another training company, and I was looking for a change, and that's how I got to know about Amity University. In fact, until the first round of interview, we had no idea that we'd be training for Commonwealth Games 2010, but as we proceeded with the different rounds of interview, we got to know, and I was really excited. This is something I had never done. It was at such a huge scale, and now imagine this: every class started with about 500 to 600 people in a single auditorium, and there is just one trainer taking them through different sessions. So the organizing committee had picked up the word Namaste as their training mascot. So every alphabet in Namaste was supposed to signify some topic in training. For example, N would signify the new beginning. A would signify something else, and M again would signify something else. So the entire training was divided into the sessions as per Namaste. So that was the
That's
acronym.
that's
So
very interesting, actually.
yes. And after the first sessions, the participants would be divided into, let's say, smaller groups of 100 each, and they would go into different training rooms. And from one training room, they would go to another training room, wherein a trainer would teach them about the next alphabet, what would the next alphabet mean. And it was really wonderful. I was very young, and that experience sort of shaped my career as a trainer. Dealing with such a huge audience was really amazing. You're on mic, constantly moving between the audience, you're interacting, because otherwise it's just a lecture, but it was a training session, and we had to move between audience, interact with them, get them involved in activities. And I mean, for a young trainer like me, initially it was really overwhelming. It took me a few days to calm down my nerves, and finally I got used to it. So India has not seen such a huge, except for cricket and maybe hockey, we've not seen such a huge event after that. I hope we can have that again, and I surely hope that I can be part of it again.
Yeah,
It was a
definitely.
wonderful experience.
Yeah. And really, like, that is why I was very curious to know that 22,000 people, and
Oh
how
yeah.
many trainers were there in totality?
Oh, we must have at least 50 or 60 trainers. part of us were from the training team, and others were from the education side of Amity. They were
Mhm.
lecturers, they were professors. So the training team was pretty huge, and
Okay.
yeah, each trainer was conducting 2 to 3 sessions in a day. After the first initial sessions, wherein the groups were broken down into smaller groups. So yeah, it was
So,
pretty
indeed,
exciting.
like a great learning experience for you too.
Oh, very good learning experience. We
Yeah.
got to know about how to organize an international event. Yes, controversies apart, it was a great learning experience for everyone involved. Volunteers were working. They
Mhm.
were based at metro stations in Delhi. They were based at monuments in Delhi. So we had two kinds of volunteers. One was in venue, and other one was outside the venue. So these guys were directing tourists at metro stations, places like Garden of Five Senses, the Red Fort, Humayun's Tomb. So everywhere there were volunteers in the official uniform, and they were and they simply loved it. The best part was they were from all age groups. The youngest volunteers I'd say was 8 years, and or rather the
Okay.
oldest volunteer was 8 years old, and the youngest was about 80 years old. So I would like to switch.
That's
The
very
excitement and the energy of a 80-year old was no less than that of a
great.
8 year old. They loved it. They
Very
simply
interesting.
loved it. Yeah.
Indeed.
We
Very.
loved it, as trainers.
Mhm. Great, great. So I really wish that one more event of that like kind should happen in India, and you must get another chance to participate in that.
Oh
All
yeah,
right.
yeah, would love that.
Yeah. So this journey of becoming a writer, how did it start?
I mean, that is something very shocking for my family because I was never a very avid reader to start with.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I couldn't concentrate. I just couldn't concentrate. But as it happened in 2017, writing started off as a process to maybe self-analyze. I don't know what I was doing, really. But
Okay.
I started scribbling in a Word file. Writing per se, handwriting per se is never my strength. Not even in school, I've got a really bad handwriting. And
Mhm.
my father, he's a very educated man. He was a very senior official, so he was always on my,
Handwriting.
head. Improve your handwriting. Improve your
Yeah.
handwriting. So yeah, I think out of the three siblings, I have the worst handwriting. I can
Okay.
proudly say that. Yeah,
Okay.
but so it started off just as scribbling about random stuff. I had no idea that it would be published. It was supposed to be a diary,
Okay.
and 6 7 months down the line, I realized that I had written very specific incidents from my childhood, and those were in the range of 40,000, 45,000 words, and I worked on it more, and by the time somebody had a look at it, it was 48,000 words, and they gave me really good feedback. Luckily, my friend Chetan, he had already been an author. God bless his soul, he passed away because of COVID in May this year. Miss
Okay.
him.
That's very sad.
He is the reason I became an author, and
Mhm.
he had already published a book called I think Journey Through Cloud or something like that. Yeah, that was his book about 10, 12 years ago. I was
Mhm.
really amazed, and he was a really dear friend. And he said, "Why don't you publish this work? This is
Mhm.
amazing work." And finally, when I sent it to the publisher, it was self-publishing, of course. I had no idea how to get it done through traditional publishing. It was 55,000 words.
Mhm.
I still had no confidence that it would be accepted by them, but they accepted. It's
Mhm.
about childhood memory of a common man in 80s. My thought was, why would anybody read that?
Mhm.
Um, it was not perfect. I couldn't afford editing, professional editing.
Mhm.
Uh, but after a few rounds of basic editing, I got it published through Notion Press. That was amazing, and I don't know. It's become an addiction. Writing has become an addiction now. I
Addiction
can't
led.
live without it. Yeah.
Yeah. You
After
explored
that,
actually your
another.
own creative side, it
Exactly.
means, and then you found out that yes, it is my forte.
I mean, it's amazing. You get to learn so much about you. You get to learn about others. You are doing research.
Mhm.
It's not like scientific research, but I'll give you an example. My third book, 110, was a spy thriller. So
Okay.
I wanted to pick up those exact words of handguns and machine guns that I was using in the scenes.
Yeah.
So I did research, and that's a very small example. For Shahenshah, I did a lot of research about cancer care and cancer research because
Mm-hmm.
I wanted people to understand Shrenik Shah's situation. I mean, he's a motivational speaker, but in 1997, because of cancer, he had lost his voice box. The entire thing was taken out. So you
Mm-hmm.
might wonder, without a voice box, how can he be a motivational speaker? I mean, he doesn't even have a voice, but he
Yeah.
uses a device called an electrolarynx. He
Okay.
places it over here, and
Mm-hmm.
he's speaking normally. The
Yeah.
muscle movement in this area through that device is actually producing a computerized sound. I mean,
It's
that was
really amazing.
fascinating for me.
Yeah, really
Exactly.
fascinating.
So I
I
did a lot
got
of
a chance
research.
to meet him once during one online session, so
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
I can relate well with whatever you are saying. I was also impressed and amazed actually that the boon of science, I would
I
say.
mean, yeah, that's what I'm telling you. I had nothing to do with cancer. I had never been part of a cancer, and I'm being very upfront. I had never been part of any, except for reading books to the kids in a hospital in Karol Bagh. I had never done anything about cancer. I had no idea. None of,
Mhm.
you know, God bless everybody,
Yes.
but none of my family members ever had. So it's like that. If your family doesn't have it, your close friends don't have it, you probably don't care about it. That's the human nature, right? But when I met him, I mean, it was completely eye opener. The way he motivates, the way he talks to people. He's doing some of the wonderful work in cancer care counseling for caregivers and the patients as well. So that was really amazing experience, and that's what I love about writing.
Right.
It has taught me so much as a person.
And how has it like changed you? You're like writing, getting the work published, all the stress attached to that, and expectations, and that the butterflies in the stomach one day before the publication of the book, before it goes to the
Oh
hands of
yeah.
the readers. How has it changed you as a person?
uh, it has, prepared me for the worst, and I have seen the worst in publishing. Self-publishing is very erratic. You don't control anything. For that matter, in traditional publishing also, you don't control anything.
Anything.
But at least publisher has put their weight behind your manuscript in
Mm-hmm.
traditional publishing.
Yeah.
But self-publishing, you're spending money, you're paying, right? And honestly, most publishers are only after the money.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they, once the marketing part is over, once the sales part is over, and I'm being
Then
very
all is
honest, that was the reason me and Chetan, we had started a publishing
yes.
house, but we've closed it
Mm-hmm.
now. We wanted authors to feel at home, just like,
Mm-hmm.
the traditional authors, the big authors, the
Hmm.
sort of popular authors felt at home. We wanted to make authors feel at home. This is your manuscript, you're the boss. We are
Hmm.
just the servants, but it works the opposite way, in
Hmm.
self-publishing.
Okay.
Publishers are the bosses and authors are the servants. It
So
should be opposite.
true.
It's their work, their hard work. They've worked really hard for whatever 20,000, 25,000, 50,000, 60,000 words. They've used the imagination. I am, churning out books pretty soon, but there are authors I know who are churning out books maybe once every 2 years, maybe 3 years. So they're working really hard. So
Yes.
they expect the work to maybe not sell, but then to get that respect out there. And
Mhm.
sadly, it's not happening in terms of self-publishing. It's all
Mhm.
about money, 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 money. What about the work? What about the hard work that the author is putting in? Give him that much respect. That sadly is lacking. And there are so many self-publishers these days, it's very hard to decide which one is good, which one is not. Uh, I think
So I
that's
think
what
everyone is like experimenting on their own, and
exactly,
but
exactly.
believe me, there are many people who really see your hard work, and everybody's hard work behind it, and especially
Yeah.
the readers, those who go through those books, they know this thing, and anyone like related to literature, or like a follower of literature or a fan of literature, would always understand the pain behind it. So like even like these characters, the development of these characters, so tell me something about that process. How do you develop these interesting characters of your stories?
My process is a bit erratic, you know. My story can take a turn anytime. So when I start, I really don't have the final end in my mind. But I want, you know, I decide that, you know, on a flip chart that I'll have these many things in my book, and based upon that, I design my character.
Hmm.
And name of the book is usually towards the end for me.
Okay.
I am a story guy, so I develop the situation, I develop the characters, I develop the full story, and then I decide about the final name of the book.
Hmm.
Uh, so 110 Out of the Shadows had different names. Firstly, it was only called Out of the Shadows. You know, I thought, you know, different names about that, but then I thought, let's create a sequel out of it. So I, it should have a solid name. And in one of the scenes, my character wakes up in a hospital room. The room number is 110, and nobody
Okay.
knows his name, right?
Okay.
So everybody starts calling him 110.
Double one
And
zero.
yeah, I thought, yeah, that's a good name.
That's interesting,
So
actually.
yeah, and and so I developed it further, and I said he doesn't want to be called by any other name but his name, so he chooses 110.
Double one zero.
That, that's the stupid logic I chose. And throughout the story, everybody calls him 110, even after they find his name, even after they know his true identity. Everybody kept calling him 110
Double
in
one.
the situation. I thought, yeah, that's a wonderful thing, and
That's
that's how I
wonderful.
developed it. Yeah, but my situations and characters and story comes first, and then I sort of work on it, freshen
Mm-hmm.
it up. At times, it changes the direction of the story
Story.
completely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can understand that. So before we move ahead, I would really like the viewers to see a few glimpses of Mr. Jasveer's life. So here we
Yeah.
have a short video.
Thank you.
I could see a little bit of adventurous side also, like a biker, and then some adventures were also there. Tell
Oh
us
yeah,
about
yeah,
your
I
experience.
love the outdoors. I am crazy about nature, and I would rather prefer to be, you know, under a tree, uh, doing something, you know, rather than staying at home. So that's me. I love
Right.
the outdoors. I've done bits and pieces of mountaineering, plus my job as a trainer gives me a lot of opportunity to travel and explore the
Mm-hmm.
world during excursions and training. So I've been
Mm-hmm.
blessed to have a really, you know, job that also fulfills my passion. So
Passion.
yeah, that's great.
Okay. So if I ask you to think about another author with whom you want to spend some time, your favorite author, who would that be?
I don't know. People laugh at me, and this has been same for the past 3 years ever since I've published my book.
Okay.
Remember, I had said that I was not an avid reader. So
Mm-hmm.
when Chetan had suggested me to publish the book, he had also suggested me to read a book. He said,
Okay.
why don't you read a book to see how a book looks like, how it feels like?
Yes.
And the first ever book that I had read in over 15 years was One Indian Girl by Chetan Bhagat.
Okay. By Chetan Bhagat.
I would always have really high regards for you know, for him, and I would like to spend one day with him
Hmm. Definitely.
to learn the
I can
craft. I love
understand
his
that.
style of narration. I really
Yes.
loved. You know, I'll just point out few things.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the way he described New York in his you know, book, and Hong Kong later, that was amazing. I'm sure he's been to New York, he's seen Hong Kong. and
Mm-hmm.
he's described small things about a restaurant where they were sitting, what was the ambience like.
Mm-hmm.
When she's standing at the bridge, finally she throws the phone in the river. So he's describing the surrounding. Obviously, he's been there, and I've
Mm-hmm.
used that style. Uh, so when I talk about 110 waking up in a market in Gurgaon, I
Okay.
know the place. So he
Okay.
wakes up in, I'll give you an example. He wakes up in front
Mhm.
of Charitable Bird Hospital in Sadar Bazaar, Gurgaon. I know the place. I've seen the place. I even know how the stairs look. So I've tried to describe that in my story. So
That
I've
it would work.
sort of learned
That's
from
the
him.
beauty of the real, storytelling technique. That the reader, while reading that information, should feel like that as if they are present over there. And you
Exactly.
have rightly said about even Chetan Bhagat's way of narration. So,
Yeah.
of course, a good choice to be with, I would say.
And
And
it
recently,
has not changed for the last 3 years. It will remain same, I think.
recently I was listening to him where he told that he once, like in his life, that he had this kind of notion that he wanted to open a public call booth,
Oh,
a
really?
PCO. He was not very aware, but then
Okay.
actually, like he got this kind of like self analysis when he did with himself, and then he realized that no, this is not the field for me, and then he went for his engineering and everything. So, like,
Wow. Oh, that's
interesting
amazing.
stories, and I can guess like all writers have interesting stories so far. So you might also be
Tend
having
to
a very
think so.
interesting childhood. I want to know one incident from your childhood which you remember and you want to share with the viewers.
Yeah, our childhood was good old time 80s, and
Mhm.
the fun part was we were about 150 kilometers away from New Delhi.
Okay.
So there was a new channel in 80s called DD Metro.
Yeah.
Now, as the name suggests, it was only meant for metro cities. It was not meant for a small town like ours.
Hmm.
So there were so many contraptions available in the market with magnet. You could attach it to the TV antenna those days,
Okay.
and it would help you to capture channels from different regions. Because there was a DD Punjab, there was a DD Haryana, and then there was Doordarshan, right, which was the central. So we wanted to see Super Hit Mukabla, which was on Friday. So
Very
we wanted to see
relatable.
that.
I
Yeah,
remember
and
all
that was
these
on
things. Even I
DD
saw during
Metro.
my childhood.
Yeah.
DD2
So
we
what
used to
we
call
would
it.
do, we would pick up a bike tire, just the rim part,
Okay.
tie it up on the top, fix it up on the top of the antenna, and then place some magnets in between. And then one guy would keep rotating the antenna, the other
And
guy
his,
would be on the
yeah,
porch giving
work.
him directions, and the third guy would be on the television telling if the picture is there or not. The moment we could see even small glimpse of DD Metro, everybody would jump down, rush in, sit in front of the television, and wait for Super Hit Mukabla. And the moment there was a gush of wind and the direction changed,
Again,
it was gone.
it would have gone. Yeah.
That was the highlight.
See, the present generation can never like understand
No, no, no,
these
no.
moments which we cherish. I can really relate to that, and I totally understand your pleasure
And
in that
the
aspect.
irritation of putting the tape back in the cassette with a pencil or a pen, oh, that was awesome.
Really, really, really.
Oh God, that was
Though we
adventurous.
have like innumerable like devices now, apps now, and everything is
Oh
available
yeah,
at the click of a mouse and everything. But those moments, really, as you said, that putting the pencil into that cassette,
precious, precious.
yeah, really precious
Now,
they were.
by the way, this might sound like marketing, but my book, version 1.5, chronicles that. So anybody wants to have a feel of 80s, please
Yeah.
have a look at it. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for giving this information. The first reader would be like sitting in front of you. I would be reading that.
Thank you so much.
Definitely to go through those memories. So, like, what about your writing space? What all things do you require around you when you think about like writing something? Like, some people they go on a holiday, they go in the nature or like at a quiet place, serene surroundings. They want tranquility. So, what kind of writer are you? What do you require on your writing space?
People who know me, they call me a chaotic writer because I cannot write in a quiet place.
Oh,
I can write in a public
really?
transport. Yeah, I can
Okay.
travel. My book Metro-Maniac Chronicle, that's
Yeah.
about 85 pages, and
Mhm.
it chronicles different kind of travelers in Delhi Metro. I have
Okay.
written that book over a course of about 2.5 months while traveling in Delhi Metro.
Mm-hmm.
So that is,
So real life
you know,
experiences,
real life experiences. Yeah, different kind of travelers in Delhi Metro. It's kind of
Yeah.
fun. It's kind of quirky. But yeah, I can write anywhere. I
Yeah.
really can write anywhere. I observe my daily situations. I observe people, and there's a funny quote I found somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
If you are saying something, I can use it in my story. Something like that. Anything that you say can be used in a book.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a quote really I love. Be careful what you say around me. Next thing you know,
Yeah.
it might feature in a story.
You never know that when your own saying or dialogue has gone into Jasveer's book, you
Exactly.
while reading you find your own words there.
So it's very difficult for me to write. It's if it's really quiet around me.
Mhm.
Uh, That's really
Great.
weird part about my writing
No,
process.
it's not weird actually. Like it's interesting. So it's a great lesson for all the viewers, those who aspire to write a book. What is your suggestion to those people who have not yet come up with their first book, but they really want to?
Yeah, I even my cousin, she's got about 12,000 words written somewhere, right? And it's
Mhm.
buried deep in the files, and she's sort of forgotten it. I keep reminding her, you have to work on it, you have to work on it. Stories are everywhere. If you're stuck, go observe people, observe nature, observe your surroundings, go to the market, see people, how they are acting, and I'm
Mhm.
sure you'll find your situations over there. You'll find your characters over there. It's everywhere.
Everywhere.
Every one of us has a story. Even as a child, when you've done something, you've broken a glass, and you're
Yeah.
trying to explain it to your mother, you're actually telling them a story.
Yeah.
No child would go, Mama, I broke the cup. No,
There
वो
is a
मामा ऐसा
story
हुआ कि yeah, मैं I was coming from here, मैं यहाँ
behind.
से आ रहा था and suddenly कप मेरे सामने आया, वो गिर गया, टकरा गया.
Yeah.
Everybody is a storyteller, guys. All you need to do is put those words on a paper, put those words in a Word file, and work on it. You will find a way. But
Mhm.
if you don't do it, it's just a thought, it's just a memory in your brain. Unless and until you share it with anybody, it's of no use.
So
But
that is
share it
rightly said
somehow.
that share your story. It's very important
Exactly.
for all of us to share our stories. Then only everybody telling their own story, their own versions. A new
Yeah.
it's a kind of a new book, original piece of work in front of the audiences when we narrate our own stories. That's a very
Exactly.
good
And the
thing.
best part is you don't need a full-fledged book to be a published author. These
Mhm.
days, many publication houses, if you go on Instagram, they are, advertising for anthology. You can be part of a book wherein
Yes.
there are multiple authors. You can
Mhm.
go to site like Medium, you can go to site like storymirror.com and create a profile and publish your
Mhm.
story for free. It could be
Yeah.
200 words, 300 word story. So
Mhm.
all you need to do is use resources. you know See, it's not limited to just TikTok, and I feel like old guy telling this.
No,
It's not
no.
about TikTok, it's just not about YouTube videos. There are so many resources available online.
Even blogging,
Find
I
it.
think it is the best
Yeah,
way. Through blogging
blogging, there
we
you
can
go.
express
Yeah,
ourselves very easily.
exactly.
You don't even have to go for like some pages and anything, or a book published. You can express your thoughts each day with
Oh
thousands
yeah,
of through
I
blogging.
see writers publishing 2 to 3 lines on Instagram and Facebook. You could do that as well. So all you need to do is just find a way to share your ideas. Otherwise,
Mhm.
it's just a thought. It's just a memory. Nobody can read your mind. Yeah.
Yeah. So this
So take that
journey
first
of
step.
reaching Canada, tell me something about that.
It was kind of a next adventure, next big adventure for me. I had an established career there. I was working with an organization that I loved for 9 years. That was my baby. We started it from scratch, me and my boss,
Okay.
and I really loved it. But coming to Canada was trying to experience a new world, trying to experience a new thing. I'm not doing what I used to do in India. I'm doing some different things, but I'm loving it. It's a new feeling, and I'm
Different.
that kind of a person who can't do the same thing again and again. I need something more, something different. So yeah, this is
Different.
something different.
So was it the same curiosity like as of every Punjabi to reach Canada?
No, never, never. My father hated it. I hated it.
Hmm.
And honestly, coming from a big city like Delhi, I have not seen much difference over here. Yes,
Hmm.
there is a difference in environment, the weather, and lifestyle, but the same hustle bustle is there. Everybody is rushing
Hmm.
somewhere. Nobody has the time to speak.
Hmm.
It's almost same. And I've lived in Delhi for over 25 years, so I've seen that lifestyle. Those buildings, they don't interest me. Malls, they don't interest me. You
Hmm.
know, it's the smile, it's people talking to each other. That's what
Hmm.
interests me. And I have not seen that sort of bling that people rush. Canada jayenge, we'll go to Canada.
But I
I
want to
was
ask you that
established, yeah.
why, why are the people so crazy or so eager to reach Canada? You need
I
to
have
tell me this.
not seen that bling.
I want one
I
answer.
honestly, no, I have not. I keep telling my wife, I don't know why people come to Canada.
Hmm.
I really don't know. What is that bling that Punjabis look for? I am a Punjabi by heart, right? I have never felt that. Why can't you work in India, right? See, I was already a successful professional in India and I came here at 40. So I had already lived half my life there. I wanted to achieve, I achieved that. And after that, I came. I don't know why youngsters would leave India at 20, 21 without even having experienced India, without having achieved anything in India. They are rushing towards Canada. Why? Do something in India first. And then when you
They
feel
don't
like you've
even
done
know.
enough,
You
they
have
don't
very
know,
rightly
right?
said this
Yeah,
thing that they don't know anything. Like daily, I meet such students who would come to me, and these days, though, even I'm not asking them where do you want to go because I know it's Canada.
exactly.
And when I
And
ask
let
them
me share
what
one
are you
thing.
going to,
Life is
yeah,
not easy here. Life is
hmm,
not easy. Healthcare may be free, but you
hmm,
have to wait for the doctor's appointment. So that
hmm,
means if you're ill now and they
hmm,
give you the appointment for tomorrow, you don't have a choice. You wait. Yeah. So
yeah.
it's
And even the
accessible,
medicine, it's very expensive too if we compare it
very
with
expensive,
Indian
very
rates.
expensive.
Yeah.
Exactly, very
Hmm.
expensive.
You won't
So it's
believe
tough.
like they
Life is not
don't
easy.
even know anything. They don't know. They have not made up their minds that what do they want to study over there? Why are they going over there? Just we
No,
want to go to Canada. That is the
they
answer.
just want to come to Canada. Yeah, they just want to
Yeah.
come to Canada, and they feel proud of it, right? It's been 1 year. Honestly,
Hmm.
I haven't seen that bling. I'm still waiting for it. Maybe someday I'll have a eureka moment. Oh wow, I am here because of this. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. No, it's. I really want you to explain this because to the young, viewers,
Oh yeah,
especially in
yeah.
my area,
Do
in Punjab.
something in India first. Do something in your own motherland first. Then,
Hmm.
if you feel that you've achieved something, then come here.
Yes, a good advice, really.
Exactly.
And so like you have told me that you never wanted to become a writer. Like it just happened. So now when you have already published so many books of yours, you have actually got the tag of an author. So like what tips would you give to anybody who wants to pursue this career? Like what are the best ways to improve their writing skills? Or even if you don't want to publish any book, still like the writing skills, how can one improve that?
I think the best way to improve your writing skills is to read a lot. I can't put an equation to it, but
Mhm.
I think for every 1000 word that you write, and this is just me, you must read at least 1 lakh words. At least. The
Totally agree.
more you read, the more your mind gets sharpened. And at one point, when I was sort of becoming an author, I would read at least 2 to 3 books a day.
Mhm.
The benefit that I had was I was traveling in Delhi Metro a lot those days. So I had my Kindle reader in my phone and I had a physical book. So I would sometimes read Kindle. If I was out of battery, I would read a physical book. But I read a lot during those days because I wanted to experience different styles. And it was not just limited to Chetan Bhagat, it was Ravinder Singh, it was Savi
Yes.
Sharma, it
Mhm.
was Roald Dahl, it was Paulo Coelho. Uh, you know, I don't remember the name of the
Yeah, I
author,
could
but
understand there would be
Chalk
many books
Line.
like that.
Yeah, there
Mm-hmm.
is an amazing book, Chalk Line, about a Kashmiri youth, a young man. It's
Mm-hmm.
amazing. You must all read it. The
Okay.
way she's detailed Kashmir, and she's not an Indian author, I think. That was
Okay.
amazing. I really loved it. And
Mm-hmm.
growing up, you would read stories by Ruskin Bond. That's like CBSE's staple English literature stories by Ruskin Bond. Yeah, you don't have anyway. Then R.K.
Hmm.
Narayanan is amazing.
Yes,
You
definitely.
must read authors of different genre and languages as well. Don't limit yourself to English.
Yes.
Hindi literature is amazing, and one of the oldest language, Sanskrit. It's come out of that Hindi. I love the stories. The spy thrillers. If you read them, they are amazing. The language is really creative.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Really.
read as much as possible. That's my message.
Variety of languages, your mother language,
Yeah,
like any, like your basic local literature, one should explore that too, and that really gives a different kind of variety of
exactly.
taste. And it's
Yeah,
not just English literature, but even if like
yeah,
Hindi, Punjabi, and as you said that yes, of course, Hindi has come out of Sanskrit. So great, like of course we can read so many variety of literature through different local languages.
yeah.
It's very like really like this advice that we have to read a lot. You want to improve the writing
Every
skills.
language in India, be it Tamil, Telugu, Bengali, come on. Bengali literature is awesome.
Yeah,
We've had some of the finest writers from
writers from Bengal.
Bengal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so read as much as possible.
Mhm. Even Punjabi literature, if we see that, like it has amazing poets and authors over here. But yes, of course, the
Exactly.
youth has to like read them, and maybe as teachers or lecturers, we also need to, inculcate this love for the literature in them. Then maybe they will again start this thing. Many people
Yeah,
these days they complain that we don't have time. I don't think this is a good excuse to skip
we have
reading.
all the time.
Yeah, like on phone
Yeah,
it's available, as you said that you
exactly.
used to have your Kindle with you and the other book also, so we can read anywhere, and I think it's a good thing that it's available there on your phone. Earlier we
Yeah,
used to like search for books from where to get
yeah.
it, and now it's
You
there, the
had to go to
PDF
the
itself is
library
there.
to borrow
Yeah.
a book.
Yes, and it's there
Yeah,
in the PDF. And people, if you in today's scenario, complain this thing that I don't have time to read. We can just
something
travel.
is
We
wrong.
can sit and like read one page one day. I think
Oh
really.
yeah,
So
I think you've really rightly put it. And another thing that people need to do is maintain a daily diary.
yes.
That I found is a good way to becoming an author. If you can start writing about your own life, slowly and steadily, you can start creating stories as well.
Yes, diaries and even journals. These like they
Exactly.
really help. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, good. I totally agree with that too. So let us talk about the weekends over here. So what special thing do you do for your family when it's a weekend?
Something that I can distinguish between India and Canada is that, in India, when you're in Delhi, when you talk about a weekend excursion, then you travel about 80 kilometers, 90 kilometers. But here, every 5, 10 kilometers, you've got a trail. uh,
Okay.
and they've kind of maintained that really well. Out of cities, you've got places to go for a walk. You can hike. You can even trek. There are places that you can even see water bodies over here. They have
Okay.
one of the largest, uh, what do you call it, freshwater lakes in the world, which are
Mhm.
called the super lakes. So
Okay.
there are water bodies everywhere. And in the last 1 year, I found that I could, on a weekend, I don't need to go far off. I can
Mhm.
just take my wife to a nearby lake and just have a nice weekend over there. So uh, that way, I found really good places. And people would often tell me what are the places that I can do adventure activities in Delhi. They had no idea that on Gurgaon Faridabad highway, they've got a
Mhm.
place called Dhauj, wherein the adventure was there. It's about 30 kilometers from any place in Delhi,
Well, thank you for
right?
telling us this thing.
Yeah. Oh
Any for the
yeah,
information.
you've got place. You can do mountaineering, you can do trekking. There's an entire jungle and mountain over there, right? Aravali Hills. You could do
Mm-hmm.
that in summers. You
Mm-hmm.
could do that in winters. So
Okay.
yeah, find it. For
Mm-hmm.
me, adventure is not 100, 200 kilometers away. For me,
Mm-hmm.
adventure is right here.
Yes.
So that's what I do with my family. I take them out. Take them
Yeah.
out.
That's great. That's really great.
Yeah,
So, what is the next
exactly.
plan now? Big plan, if you want to share with us.
It's my hope that I can come up with the second part of 110 because I wanted it to be the Indian spy genre series 110.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I have no hesitation in accepting that just like 007, 007 James Bond, it's 110. So it's an Indian spy, right?
Okay.
And second, it's my dream to have a Indian superhero. I'm
Yes.
working on the story, and I have about 60,000 words in it. All I need to decide is that if everything is going to go in one book or different book.
Different
But
books.
I would love for it to be traditionally published. I already have a publisher for my next book. My anthology may be coming up in about 2 months. It's called
Okay.
Ensemble, a collection of short stories and essays.
Mhm.
So that will be coming up shortly. But yeah,
Wow.
it's really my dream to have an Indian superhero, a world
No, you
class
must,
Indian
yeah, you
superhero.
must explore that, and you must give
Yeah,
us an Indian superhero. I would also
I'm
wait
working
for
on my fantasy
that.
book,
Definitely,
hopefully.
definitely.
That's my
So
big
this,
dream.
yeah. So this, this job of a behavioral trainer, I had kept this for the end part because I really wanted to know about it. Tell us something about that. Like, what is this behavioral training? What
Yeah.
aspect do you focus on?
You've got two parts, or rather three parts. One is the soft skill part, how a person dresses, how he walks, right? How what he writes. That's
Hmm.
soft part. But then there is the hard part, which is the technical knowledge,
Okay.
and people generally concentrate on these two, not
Mm-hmm.
knowing that the behavior part, which is
Yeah.
how he manages his time, how he manages his stress,
Okay.
how he manages the work life balance. So sorry about that.
Mm-hmm.
That matters a lot. Even in safety, we identified that part, the behavior part. People might know that it's illegal or unsafe to jump a red light,
Yeah.
but they still do. Why do they do that?
Still.
It's about behavior. It's not about knowledge. It's not
Yes.
about the skill of driving. They know how to drive and they know it's illegal, but they still do it. It's about behavior, right?
Mm-hmm.
So behavior skills, the challenge is to target the behavior of the person, the attitude of the person.
Okay.
And it's very difficult to quantify that. There are tools available online, and there are some psychometric tools which can quantify and assess. But that's the hard part about being a behavioral trainer. You're targeting the behavior of a person. You're trying to change the habit,
Yes.
and
Very
change
difficult. I can
management.
imagine that.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
it becomes tricky over there, but I love
Mm-hmm.
that part. I love that challenge.
So you conduct a lot of seminars and conferences for that too, right?
Yes, I
Okay.
conduct those
Mm-hmm. And how
online and
can,
offline both.
yeah, so how can one be a part of those workshops or seminars? Do you collaborate
Currently,
with
there's
some
a
other like colleges, universities, or like individually you are conducting that?
Yeah, I'm still doing that in India. I've done it for TMU. I was doing it for Amity University, plus our organization, Post-Tech Training. We were a corporate training company, so we were tying up with corporates, we were tying up with schools and colleges, and we were conducting those online and offline.
Okay.
Online is something that is not very effective. It came up in during COVID times.
Yes.
Otherwise, it was always a physical class prior to
Mhm.
March 2022, March 2020,
20.
or an excursion, but a physical thing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I am trying to conduct those online over here for colleges and everybody. So yeah, it's
Right.
generally a planned one, not an open one.
Okay, okay. That's great.
Yeah.
So it was a nice talk with you, Mr. Jasveer. Like how the time passed, I could not even, keep a check on that. But a last piece of advice to anybody, to all your fellow beings over there. Like these days, after this pandemic, we have become little, pessimistic, should I say?
Yeah.
So any like something you want to share, your own personal experience or something, how, what do you want to tell them to just keep going, moving ahead in life?
The video that you showed, the last photograph of me and my wife,
Yeah.
that was clicked today. 1 year
Okay.
ago.
Uh-huh.
And the significance, I'll tell you what. We came
Yes.
to Canada and we were in quarantine for 14 days. And today is the day, 1 year ago, we came out of quarantine. And those
Okay.
smiles that you see
Yeah.
are for the first time we saw outside. From airport, we came to the hotel and we were there for 14 days. We couldn't see anything. The view was really bad from the hotel window. So those smiles that you see are are how do I put it? Genuine smiles. Those are
Genuine
not fake
smiles.
selfie smiles. We were
Yes.
really excited to come out in
I can
open after
imagine that
14
was
days.
a Canadian dream, and then after reaching over here, as you were telling
No,
that
no, 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 no.
the view was terrible, so I can understand that.
Yeah, nothing to do with that. It was just the excitement of coming out after 14 days. That's it. Yeah, it
Okay.
could be in Timbuktu, it could be in Toronto, it could be anywhere.
Yeah.
That is what we did. We laughed a lot in our quarantine. We did a lot of different things. We would play a lot of games. We would keep ourselves busy. That's what I wanted to tell people. Keep yourself busy. If you're sitting idle at home, thinking that you're in a prison, you are at the losing end. Nobody
Yes.
is suffering, it's you. Make good use of your time, make good use of your brain, do constructive activities, not just watching videos or do anything. Pick up a hobby. I think that's the best way. Painting, drawing, you could do so many things at home. You could simply write your experiences at home. Today I did this, today I did that. But make good use of your time and brain, and make lockdown worthwhile. I think that's how you can change from being a pessimist to an optimist.
Optimist, definitely. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Mr. Jasveer Singh Dangi, for being here on Mindfulness with Roop. And I've learned a lot from you today, really. Like each word that you spoke, it had sense, really. And I'm very
Thank you.
curious to read the further works which you're going to produce. And I know that like hundreds of books you're going to produce in the times to come. So my best
Thank
wishes
you.
for your future. Any social media handle you want to share with the viewers where they can connect with you? Any website, any Instagram or somewhere? What name you are there on that social media?
Okay, my website is my full name, jasveersinghdanghi.com. You can search for it. So I post a lot of stuff over there. I'm a podcaster, so all my podcasting episodes are there. I write blogs over there as well. And even on social media, you can search me with my full name, Jasveer Singh Dangi. So, yeah, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, you can connect with me on Facebook as well.
So I'm very hopeful that yes, of course, the viewers are really going to be get connected with you and go through your podcasts and blogs. Thank you so much, sir, for coming today and sharing so many experiences of yours with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you
So
so
this
much for
was
having
Mr.
me here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. This was Mr. Jasveer Singh Dangi from Canada, and he shared the insights about his journey as a writer and the way he reached from Delhi to Canada and how his life over there. I hope that we have, like other episodes, even in today's episode, we have learned from this trailblazer. So that's it from my side for today, and we are going to meet during the next episode with yet another trailblazer. Till then, goodbye. Take care of yourselves.
Thank you.